Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Been a little bit since I did my last vlog. Um, I wanted to give a little bit of an update of what's been going on and more so like what my plans are for the summer. Um, so starting off, I just did the Kentucky Derby half marathon like a little while back, but one of my biggest problems, and I'm doing this, try to be more accountable. Is like, man, I sometimes after those half marathons, I end up taking like a little bit of a break. That ends up going like almost a month, 2 months, and it just can't be happening as much, So I uh, need to hunker down for the summer and really just like focus and lock in. And part of what I've been doing is bam factor. I've been using them a little bit, and they've been pretty good. I'll post my weight loss results here. I've been keeping track on a weekly basis, and and as you can see, most of those big dips they occur when I'm on factor, and like and I go in and out every so often, mostly because it's like they give so many coupons and deals. It's like it's better to like hop on and off. Kind of like like internet plans or uh, especially a lot of these apps. Like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. Just jump on and off. Like like I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but they give a lot of coupons and discounts, so it's good to just kind of like reset and get it at a better price. But I do really do enjoy those meals. They're for the most part they're pretty good. They're not terrible, but they're not like knock your socks off good. But like it's portioned very well, so that like it prevents myself from like overeating, and that's typically like my biggest problem is I will like overeat. You know, just whatever is put in front of me, I tend to scarf it down. And that's what ends up leading me to getting up to like almost 250. Well, I was 250, almost 255 at one point, but now I'm down to like 241 ish, around that zone, and I hope to keep going further down. It was a goal of mine when I was 225 to be, you know, uh, roughly like in the 200s, like low 200s. Um, I'm not sure if I'll ever get underneath 200, simply because of my muscle mass. I do want to preserve some of that, but I do have a lot of visceral fat that I kind of need to get rid of. And that's what leads me to my summer plan, because after the Kentucky Derby Marathon, I kind of just like, blech. I stopped running for a little bit, do some here and there, but it's never consistent, and that's generally my biggest problem after a half marathon. It's like I slowed down in my training, so it's 1 week off is not bad, but like a month and a half, 2 months, that gets a little too much. And I know part of me has a little excuse with like college finals and stuff like that, where I kind of have to like shift my focus into more academic studies and more like athletic training. So, but I want to like kind of build to a point where I don't have to like sacrifice so much. Whereas like I have to just like stop running but and I want to just like build that habit. Um, but getting a little sidetracked. So, how am I locking in? That is a good question, and here's how. I am prepping for the October half marathon in New Mexico. That's gonna make state number 4, New Mexico, and so that means I kind of have to start locking in now. Start running, and I utilized AI to help build a running plan. I there's a lot of like uh, programs and apps that are out there that will do about the same thing, but like knowing what I know of fitness and like the fitness industry, um, man, there's a lot of I hate to say like grifters and just like scam artists, snake oil salesmen, but man, they run amok everywhere. So um, I'm utilizing like free resources to sort of like just develop a good plan, and it kind of helps with my like background, and I kind of understand some like running programming, having been actually a pretty good athlete back in my military days. So I utilize AI to sort of like develop a plan, and yeah, like at least these first few months, like June and July, uh, it's gonna be primarily like timed based, like running for 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes an hour, kind of switching up intervals and sort of doing more like interval training as well with that. So like so for example, I'll have like a 1 minute run, 1 minute walk. Do that for like 20 sets. Don't not I don't worry about distance. Just focus on time. So that's gonna be most of my running training for these next 2 months. Um, I'm not going to worry too much about mileage, but more so like build up a good baseline so I can have more endurance when I run. And so that way I can like focus more on like running longer and not so much, uh, yeah, yeah, more so to like build up my endurance and stamina. Uh, and sprint speed and focus like that's going to end up coming a little bit later past August because I've because in August I signed up for a uh, duathlon, which is basically an event that's like swimming, a run, and a swim. You know, so speaking in like gaming terms, like this is sort of like a side quest that I'm doing, and I kind of like well it'll make more sense when I finally talk about it. But I'm considering this more like my triathlon summer, and yeah. So I signed up for that. The 50 states, 50 half marathons, like that's the final boss. And this side quest of the Corpus Christi duathlon is more of like it's a good way to build up myself because I believe in I hate to say functional fitness, but like hybrid fitness, sort of. Like don't be good at just one thing. Kind of like have a good balance in all sorts of like pillars of fitness. Like cardiovascular strength, uh, like mobility, flexibility, things like that. And yeah, it's a side quest really to build myself back up because, like I said, I have a lot of extra weight that I need to drop, and you know, I need to hunker down and just get it done. So one of the things. So with that said, you know, I signed up for the duathlon, so I will be incorporating uh, some swimming training along. UTSA has a good pool that I can utilize when it's not raining. San Antonio's been raining kind of a lot crazily. Um, because it's an outdoor pool, you know, you don't really have a choice. If it starts to rain, you kind of shit out of luck for training. But no, like right now, I'm gathering some of the gear. Like I just got some decent goggles. I need to go look for some like swimming earbuds or yeah, swimming earbuds because like yeah, my ears just really get painful uh, whenever I do like swim a lot in that like competitive like uh, swimming mode, you know, like where I'm doing like butterflies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, my ears just like really hurt. So I want to make sure I get all the stuff before I start training. Hopefully, like, so I should be starting the training next week on the let me see what day. So starting the week of like June 15th. Yeah, I'm doing this like midway through, but um, yeah. So hopefully like next week I'll have all the stuff that I need to be like swimming real proficiently. Um, so there's that. And now makes more sense why I said triathlon because um, considering that I'm going to be going to UTSA gym, I noticed in their like group exercises they have two classes that I've been kind of wanting to try. Well, one of them I've done before, but I it's been a while. Um, and that spin class, like I've done spin before, and man, that workout just it really can kick your butt, you know. And so yeah, that's kind of why I consider this, you know, like my triathlon training uh, summer. You know, I'll be doing some running, some swimming, and some biking. You know, spinning's not like real biking, but it's still it pretty much simulates real biking. And so yeah, those will be like my big pillars for my cardio endurance training for the summer. You know, for June and July, and I need to give up updates when I well, it'll be mostly in June and a little bit in August of when of how that training's going. I'm excited to see those results. But the other class is Pilates. Now, I don't know much about Pilates. I know it has to deal with like a lot of core strength, and I know for myself, I could probably improve a lot more in that area. My core is probably eh, it's good enough for like powerlifting type moves, but like in terms of like flexibility or uh, like anything else other than strength training, it's pretty weak. It's pretty terrible. Um, that's one of the issues I've have had of just focusing primarily on strength. You know, after I got out of the military, it was just like maxing out bench, squat, and doing well. I didn't really do deadlifts too much, but it was just those things. And yeah, suffice it to say, like being in like focusing on like just one type of pillar of fitness really kind of screws you over in like other areas. So I do like, I well, being older now, I do want to be like more overall fit and not just like excel in one thing. You know, because longevity, that's really the that's really the goal of it. You know, so that's my plans for this summer. Um, Training for that duathlon. Uh, you know, and then as August rolls around, my training will transition to do more like intense sprint work, uh, half marathon training, or more half marathon focused training. That way, I'm a little bit more prepared. Like my goal for October is to make just to be under 240 because like right now I've been at like 258, you know, and that's with like really sub prime training, you know, like my inconsistent training has kind of gotten me to like I'm surprised under 3 hours, you know, but I hope to be under 240, you know, drop like at least 20-ish minutes. I know I know that's a big ask, but we will see how that goes, you know. And if I want to make that goal, you know, I got to put in that work. That's what I plan to do, you know. And in order to stay accountable, I got to make sure, you know, I'm doing at least like this, like a monthly vlog, kind of like give an update in my training, my weight loss. Yeah, those two things I need to like really stay focused and sharp on. Otherwise, I'm gonna be running almost 3 hours for every single half marathon, and that's oof, that's another it's a whole nother issue. Like I said, I've been lucky that most of these half marathons have been like pretty flat, but like you know that's I'm not gonna be that lucky all the time. You know, like some of these are gonna be some might be you know 1,000 feet elevation gain. And yeah, I know. Hell, I struggled like 200, 300 in the San Antonio half marathon when it was you know 200 all at once, and I was like, oh man, I struggled, and it was difficult. Uh, so I can't imagine if it's you know if uh, if the routes get harder, which some might not. We'll see, but you know I got to be ready for anything with those half marathons. But okay, moving away from that for now. Just want to talk about the channel a little bit and kind of like where that ship is being steered. Mostly because like I'm experimenting a little bit. I'm kind of I'm really happy with like the viewership count and like the subscribers. Like that is amazing. You know, I'm 140 something now. Uh, yeah, that's freaking awesome. I'm glad people are enjoying it. You know, thank you for you know coming along for the ride. Um, I do have a few things planned that I want to do and just experiment just to see how it works. Mostly, well, the biggest thing right now is like I kind of have a few AI videos that I'm working on uh, to to create like more backrooms type stuff. Um, like I'm using that to kind of like supplement a little bit of my ideas for Unreal Engine 5. Um, because I have been working on a game in UE5, and I think the yes, yeah, like I've been working on a game in UE5, and like I know like that content is the one that, like, man, that really bumps up viewerships and stuff like that. And you know, if that's what people want to see, you know, I want to try to give it to them, uh, because I like the creative process of like trying to do that stuff. And so I'm like working to make some AI shorts, you know, AI YouTube shorts. But eventually, I hope to like transition and eventually doing that stuff with Unreal Engine 5, because I know you can make like similar type movies with that. It's just I need time to like learn the skills and then get better with it, because like I said, I'm creating uh like some Backrooms games. Right now I'm still kind of like, I don't, it's not ready to be like published yet, and I really don't want to show anything off just yet. But like mostly because I don't really want like a reputation of like just putting uh, like asset, like an asset flipper. So like I just want to like learn it more in depth in order to like make a really good game that I think people would buy. Because like I said, it's I think it's fun. I also think there's a lot of room to explore, and kind of like how King Pixels has his own version of the back rooms. I kind of want to make my own, uh, and I hope people will enjoy. Uh, Make it, you know, like, and I kind of want to bring it a little bit to life using like some of the AI plus Unreal Engine to sort of like to kind of bring it to life in a sense. I don't know how else to say that, but it's but like I said, I have a lot to to learn and grow with that, and hopefully once I get better with it, you know, I'll start putting some stuff out. But right now, I'm experimenting with like the like AI video makers to sort of like flesh out some ideas I have, and so there's that. And so yeah, and that's pretty much just the update. You know, I want to become more accountable and sort of adjust my like my YouTube videos. Oh yeah, that's right. But I also want to like try to live stream just a little bit more. Now that I have like my second monitor, um, just to give people a chance to interact, you know, or get some feedback, you know, because I know, like I said, like the backroom stuff is what I get like the most feedback on. Backrooms and Monster Hunter, so like that's again where most of my content is gonna be like shifting towards. Um, like I do have a few retro games I do want to like kind of like live stream, but you know, if anybody has ideas or requests, I mean, just let me know. I'm pretty easy to adjust things with. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. You know, need to stay more accountable, and especially with like weight loss and training, and hopefully, you know, I get better with these goals. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I look forward to the future. Uh, it is looking bright. Um, so, till next time, you guys take it easy.